Visions.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Review, Grimes Visions. Grimes is the Montreal-based synthesizer pop project fronted by singer-songwriter Claire Boucher. This is the third full-length album from the project, and in a nutshell, it's kind of the shorter and much better produced sequel to the project's last album, Halfaxa. And I guess I say sequel because I feel like Grimes is going for roughly the same sound on this LP, but there are some notable sonic improvements. But aside from the previous Grimes record, there were a bunch of other artists that this record reminded me of as I was listening to it. For one, nearly every single one of these tracks is built on these really quirky, old school, very rigid and rudimentary synth pop instrumentals that remind me a lot of artists like OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, or Depeche Mode. And Claire's voice over these instrumentals, it's really light and feathery, very breathy and high-pitched. In a way, it kind of reminds me of a really artsy, gothed out Madonna. The vocal just really reminds me of Madonna's first two solo records. But the vocals are sung at a pitch that is sort of just shy of the pitch that you would normally hear vocals sung at on an Alvin and the Chipmunks record. And then the vocals are just slathered in so much reverb, you can't really make out what they're saying, and they have the resonance of whale calls. Now I know that combination of sounds and influences sounds kind of weird, maybe like a joke, maybe something that you're wincing at thinking, wanna listen to that? Stop it. But I actually think it's an interesting idea, an interesting combination of sounds. It's really clear if you listen to Grimes' first LP, listen to the second and this one, that she's been slowly developing this style. She's just been chiseling away, just perfecting this aesthetic. My issue is that I just wish the songs on here felt as refined, felt as planned or developed, or as unique. A lot of the songs on this thing just feel really thrown together. There are some tracks on here that don't even have a chorus. You know, they just kind of have this one single idea and then they end just shy of the 2-minute mark as if there was just no possible way to progress the song past this one idea. As far as the other tracks go, some of their hooks just sound so identical to the verses, they might as well be the same part. Because it's not really like the synths or the beat will change all that much most of the time. A lot of these tracks roughly are pretty much one instrumental idea with Claire kind of vocalizing over it in a handful of different ways. It's a kind of basic setup, and it's something that I could definitely see myself getting into if I felt like I was more in love with the elements that make these songs up, like the synth work and Claire's voice. I think the vocals on here just feel so distant, I never really get to know them. And at first I was kind of turned off by the really high pitch that they sing at, but I don't know, after a while it just didn't bug me anymore, and I kind of grew to like it. My only real issue with the vocals on this LP now are spots like the track Vowels Equal Space and Time, where it feels like Claire is kind of singing out of her range or something, really stressing her voice or just not hitting the notes that she wants to when she's essentially soloing with her voice. And as far as the synthesizers go, there are just some bad synth parts on here. Just for lack of a better word, just some bad synth parts. It feels like some of these synthesizer phrases, arpeggios, melodies, whatever, were played by someone who had just learned music theory. Like at the end of the song Genesis, where you're just kind of catching the scale like and there are other spots on here like the arpeggios on Be a Body or the synthesizer solos on the track Oblivion or night music, especially night music. The solos just feel so aimless. They're literally just kind of clumsily stepping up and down like a scale. It doesn't sound like keyboard playing. It sounds like keyboard practice. Some of the beats on this LP are pretty good though. I do have to give it to Grimes on that, especially with tracks like Genesis and Oblivion. They have this old school retro dance pop feel, but they don't feel too dusty or nostalgic. And the track 8 has this really hardcore robotic vocal sample in the track, and these really hard-hitting rhythms and these high-pitched vocals just swarming all over the beat. I really like how hectic that song is. My only issue is that it's just criminally short. The song CURCUMAMBIENT has a really great groove too, and tracks like Color of Moonlight kind of show off this LP's versatility, how Grimes can go from this hard-hitting, catchy, dancey pop song to something much more atmospheric, slow, and spacious, and still sound pretty decent. I'm really not sure what to make of this LP. I feel extremely on the fence with it. It has so many great ideas, and yet there are just some melodies on here that I don't like at all. Some keyboard playing on here that I think is pretty lazy. Some songs just kind of end without doing anything or developing or going anywhere. It's an album that I guess I thought was pretty easy to listen to, but also pretty easy to forget. Kind of feeling a decent to strong 5 on this thing, but what do you guys think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And let me know why. I am actually curious as to what is attracting you guys about this album, sonically, musically. Let me know. Anthony Fantano, Grimes, Visions, forever.